Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for not wanting to give my half-sister one of my kidneys? So this takes a bit of background to explain, but I'll try my best to keep it short. I am a 38-year-old male, in pretty good health as far as I know. I look after myself. I don't smoke, don't drink much, exercise regularly, etc. I have a half-sister, 29, who is type 1 diabetic and is now in kidney failure. I feel the background to this is important, so we'll briefly explain. We share a father, not a mother. Her mother and my father split up when she was around 3, so I was about 13. She went to live with her mom. Being a teenager, then I was also doing my own thing. Then moved away to uni. Then stayed away for work. Still in the UK, but not near to her. So we've never been close. Most of my interactions with my half-sister over the years have been when she needs some money. We don't have a lot in common. She has a lot of problems, though I don't think I'm aware of them all. She is a type 1 diabetic, has depression and anxiety pretty severely, and she doesn't look after herself well at all. She followed her mom to Ireland around 8 years ago, but before then, and after I moved back not too far away from her, I saw her a bit. I was pretty perplexed when she asked me for a ride to the shop and for money, and came out with a ton of Monster energy drinks. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I'm pretty sure she drinks a number of these a day. Not the sugar-free ones. When I challenged her, she says she needs them when she has a hypo. Other family members have seen this pretty consistently. Now diabetes runs in my family. My uncle died of it very young. He also didn't look after himself, so I know this is bad. My sister is in a bad way, especially for her age. She has lost most of her teeth, mainly due to the energy drinks, I assume. Most of her hair is gone. She is blind in one eye and nearly blind in the other. Uses a wheelchair, and probably some other stuff is wrong that I don't know about. Then there is the kidney failure. My dad, who was asked by her mom, has asked me to donate. As I said, I'm pretty healthy. Most of my family isn't, but we'll get to that. I have a 1-year-old kid. I work as an IT contractor, earning pretty decent money, but no sick/holiday pay, etc. In quite a high-pressure job. My wife was made redundant when pregnant, so doesn't have a job to go back to. We want to try for another kid soon anyway, so I'll be the sole breadwinner for quite a while. Being a contractor, I can also be got rid of at any point. I've just started a new contract which lasts 6 months with an extension if I perform well, etc. Other potential donors in my family are my dad, type 2 diabetic, which pretty much rules him out. Her mom, don't speak to her really, and barely seen her for years, but is overweight and in her 60s. Probably not the best candidate. Her half-brother, no relation to me. Other than seeing him at my half-sister's wedding last year, we haven't spoke since we were kids. Not sure of his situation really, other than that he has a young son. My twin brother, not in great health, and had a heart attack last year, caused mainly but a defect in an artery. Though a less than healthy lifestyle probably didn't help. Her husband, think they've fallen out. He suffers from loads of mental health issues as well. Heard through the grapevine he isn't volunteering. Her cousin was informed he may be volunteering. Don't know anything about him. So yeah, that is the backstory. I don't want to give her a kidney really, if I'm being honest with myself. But I do feel like an asshole for thinking that. My thoughts are, 1. She wouldn't look after it and would do the same thing as she's done to her kidneys. 2. I have a young kid and want another. My wife and I don't have that much time to do this considering our ages. Want another one before I'm too old to be able to cope. 3. I'll be out of work for 4 to 6 weeks if I'm lucky. I'm the only earner and rely on my job so much. Isn't just the lost earnings the work and keeping it depends on being there and delivering. Just started a job which I was lucky to get. I don't want to mess that up. They may get rid of me if not there for 1/3 of my contract. For I don't know my sister that well. She's only ever really been in touch when she needs money. This also sounds bad, I know, but a big part of me thinks she's done this to herself. Why should I give away a kidney? Because I've looked after myself. I've seen how she lives, as I had to clear out her flat when she moved to Ireland. It was shocking. The whole flat was filth to knee-high. 5. I know the risk of death for me is low, about 1 in 30,000. But every fiber of my being is saying I shouldn't risk that for my daughter's sake. I also like to keep fit and do boot camps, etc. multiple times a week. That will be on hold for many months after the op. I do feel bad, and I'm generally thought of as a person that would do anything for anyone. But I don't want to do this. I'm not convinced she'd be healthy enough to have the op anyway. I am told she is going on to dialysis soon, and will of course try and get on the waiting list. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person? I told my father that his coming to my wedding was the least of my worries. My father cheated on my mother with her cousin. My parents were married for 20 years, and halfway through, they had an affair with Monique, Mom's cousin. During the separation, my father forced me to get along with Monique's daughter, Caddy, who's the same age as me. She's not my father's biological daughter. Caddy is just as bad as her mother, and I hate her even more. Monique always acted as if we had to accept the fact that she and my father loved each other, even though they had hurt a lot of people. I met my fiancé Jensen, 25M, 8 years ago. He was Caddy's boyfriend for 5 months before breaking up with her because he couldn't stand her anymore. Caddy was sad, but I didn't care. Some time after they broke up, Jensen and I were still talking because we were good friends. And some time later, he asked me out, and I agreed. When my father, Caddy's mother, and Caddy heard the news, they were all furious with me and told me that Caddy was my sister, and I couldn't do that to her. I said that Caddy wasn't my sister, and added that Monique was my mother's cousin and had dated her husband, and that they should stop being hypocrites because they were no better than me dating a single man. My dad got mad and tried to talk to me, but I just told him to go die because I hated him. He was hurt. He was hurt, but again, I didn't care. 1 year ago, Jensen proposed, and of course I accepted. I decided to invite my father without Caddy and Monique. When he received the card, he was furious that the two couldn't come. I told him sincerely that I didn't consider them my family. He said that Patrick, my mother's husband, and his children were coming, and I told him that yes, they were my family. He didn't add anything except that he'd get back to me. Some time later, Monique had a serious car accident. My father phoned and asked me to come and see her in hospital, but I told him no. He told me to grow up. He told me to grow up and stop acting like I didn't have a heart, and I hung up. Now Jensen and I are getting married in 2 weeks, and my dad called to tell me about Monique and Caddy still not being invited to the wedding. I told him to stop bugging me about it, and that it was my wedding, and I was inviting whoever I wanted. He started crying, saying he had cancer and wanted to attend his daughter's wedding and walk me down the aisle. I told him it was Patrick who was going to walk me down the aisle, that he was just the guest, that I wasn't going to invite his affair and their daughter, and that his coming to my wedding was the least of my worries, that the only reason I had invited him in the first place was out of pity. He remained silent and asked me if I hated him, so much that I didn't care about his illness. I laughed in his face and replied that indeed I didn't care about him. He was crying, but I hung up. My family is on my side, but Jensen says I've been too cruel to him and proposes a meeting, and says my father and I seriously need therapy. But I'd rather keep my money than try to work things out with this man. What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for leaving a family vacation early because my brother kept making fun of me? I, 26F, just came back from a family vacation, and it didn't go well. We rented a cabin for a week, and it was supposed to be a fun trip. My brother, 30M, likes to joke around, but TBH, lately his jokes have been kind of mean. On this specific trip, he kept making fun of how I look. I have a big nose, LOL. Something I have always felt insecure about. My job, and the fact that I'm single. I think it's important to mention I recently came out of a long-term relationship after being cheated on. So my confidence is already low, and I'm super sad about this OFC. The first few times I did try to laugh it off, but after a few days it was eating me up inside and taking a toll on me. I decided to talk to him in private about this as the first step, telling him that what he was saying was mean. He didn't take me seriously, he never does, and told me I was being too sensitive, saying he was just joking like always. By the fourth day, I couldn't take it anymore. He made another comment at dinner in front of everyone, and I just got up and left the table. I packed my bags and told my parents I was going home early. They were upset and said I was ruining the trip, but I told them I didn't want to stay and be insulted anymore. Now, my family thinks I overreacted and should have just ignored him. My brother hasn't apologized and still thinks I'm being dramatic. A few family members think I should have stayed and tried to enjoy the rest of the trip, but I just couldn't. Am I the bad person for leaving the vacation early because I was tired of my brother's teasing? You've sat down. You've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it going to be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.